weekend we're on our way to Kennedy Space Center. They're gonna host myself and my family. We drove up the coast from South Florida up to Central Florida, specifically the Space Coast, and we hit the Marriott, which is where we'll be staying for the night. It lies directly across from the Space Center on the bay, and you can see launches from your room. All right, we drove up from Boca. It's about 2.5 hours. Now we're gonna check in Courtyard across the way from the Space Center. We were impressed by how nice the hotel was. Everything was new. Lobby was super clean, had a bar downstairs, and this rad robot that kept the kids busy while we checked in. The staff was very friendly. The rooms and hallways were very clean. We even met a NASA staff member on the way up. And the room was really nice. We got a double queen bed, and it was a view of the... What can you see? Our room had an amazing view on the Indian River, which was also bordering the National Seashore and the wildlife refuge that surrounds the Kennedy Space Center. After a long car ride, the kids were amped to go in the pool. There was a full splash pad area and, of course, a hot tub and also a bar. We could order food from the Space Bar, which is the restaurant on top of the hotel. We ordered the short rib nachos and also the pizza. And we have to say the short rib nachos were amazing. Very impressed. The kids loved the doodle screen downstairs. After dinner, I checked out the rooftop Space Bar just to check out the sunset view. We watched Walk the Moon inside the room, of course, before saying goodnight.
What's the name of that VP report?
As usual, I'm up early, and I like to work out. Carson joined me, and then we went up to watch the sunrise, ready for a long day at Kennedy Space Center. Yeah. Kennedy Space Center was a short 5-minute drive from the hotel, the Courtyard, where we were staying across from the bay. By arriving just before 9, we got easy parking up close. It opened at 9. We went to will call, and the tenant gave us a whole rundown on what we should see during the day and when we should go. First up was the rocket garden tour. It's obvious, it's front in the entrance, and it was a tour of all the rockets, a lot of the OGs they first launched. These are all real except for one of them.
A few feet off the ground before falling back and exploding. As obvious as it seems now,
this is where the kids started to learn about where we were and how amazing, really and truly, the history of NASA is.
To rendezvous and dock with other spacecraft. Up to this point, the brute force of Russia's rockets...
I'm always amazed at the raw power, 6,000 miles per hour. Comparing that to how fast we drive is insane. Upon arriving, they gave us a great map. Next up, we would explore Gateway, the Deep Space Launch Complex. It was a great break from the sun and this deep, dark entrance into space for the kids. Where are we?
We're in Kennedy Space Center in Orlando.
Oh, Cape Canaveral.
Oh.
The kids and my wife checked out the movies. A very similar experience of Soarin' at Disney. Realizing the physical size up close and personal with everything at Kennedy Spacer was so amazing. We even checked out the Mars rover. The kids got some energy out at Planet Play and then watched an IMAX movie in the same building. We had a quick lunch at Moon Rock Cafe. The food was ordinary, definitely nothing special. We headed to the gift shop for the kids to chat and meet with astronaut Charlie Walker.
Orbited the Earth like a space station. We were our own base in space. It's kind of like going on a cruise ship and just going out into the ocean.
He was very down to earth and told the kids all the stories. Then we took a bus tour to the Apollo Saturn V Center. But first, I had to remind myself that soon there was a launch coming up the next morning. We hopped on the bus, and throughout the bus ride, the tour operator told us all about the center and the things we were passing by, including the large gators, we passed by the huge, massive, largest one-story building in the world, the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building. We're here at the Apollo Kennedy Space Center. Everyone told us we gotta come here. Saturday 5, waiting to get in. There it goes. Where are we today?
We're at Kennedy Space Center, and right now we're at Apollo 11.
What do you think about that? All right, where are we going now?
Now we're gonna go inside of the Apollo 11.
Where are we now?
Right now we're at the launch control system.
This was the actual Mission Control Center, and they now have a full demonstration of how it was and what it was like for takeoff.
Look at the switch list aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds, all aspects. We are still low at this time. DNOS 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Let the mission sequence start. The engines are on. 4, 3.
The coolest part was the building started vibrating, the windows are vibrating, and the fake windows behind us started turning orange like it was outside. Seeing the massive size of these rockets never get old, from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, and learning about all.
Okay, right now I'm standing in front of the Apollo rocket at Kennedy Space Center.
It's very light, right?
Touching the moon rock. We also learned about the 3 astronauts that lost their lives during testing.
I'm about to walk on the same exact bridge that Neil Armstrong walked on.
Apollo 11 was my first opportunity to see launch, which I was looking forward to. Previous to that, all of them.
The moon landing film demonstration was awesome too.
It was a moment shared.
We're inside the Atlantis display, and above me, Space Shuttle. All the tiles below it. This is kind of more my generation when I grew up as a kid, and actually ended up photographing it as a photographer for the press, taking off in my earlier days. The Atlantis engines were amazing. My wife and kids did the VR experience in the Atlantis exhibit while I checked out the Airstream. I couldn't get Carson out of the Atlantis shuttle cockpit. He was in there for over 10 minutes. After a full day, we headed back to the Courtyard for a relaxing afternoon at the pool with, of course, nachos. The next morning, we set our alarms for 4:30 a.m. to watch the launch take off at 4:48 a.m. It was truly amazing.
Look at the.
We were about 10 miles away. We had a perfect view on top of the hotel.
Wow.
The center is actually wow. What a fire though.
If you're on the Space Coast, I definitely recommend going to check out the Kennedy Space Center.
Bye.